Guys, stay with me, and I'm going to give you my juiciest real estate story ever.
You better get fired up.
All right, it's Friday, baby. We made it. Welcome. I appreciate you joining me today. I'm going to share with you the craziest story when it comes to real estate that I've ever personally experienced. I'll tell you, you really experience a lot of wild things because you get pretty deep into people's lives. And a lot of times there are a lot of profound, good or bad, reasons that people are buying or selling, and that can add to it as well. And you get to know these people for 30, 60, 90 days, and you're in their homes. So you see and experience a lot of really unique things. I'll tell you, just to start off, I sold real estate in Minnesota for 6 years. And then I came here to Florida. I've been selling for just shy of 5 years. So with over 10 years experience, you certainly see a lot, right? Drugs. I can't tell you how many times I've walked into a show. I shouldn't say it's been a lot, but probably 6, 8, 10 times. I've walked into a house and seen drugs. I remember when I was in St. Cloud, Minnesota, and I walked in. This was probably my first year or two in selling. And I remember the exact home. I remember it was 1049. I remember exactly where it was. I'm not going to give out the address, but I remember exactly where it was. And I was showing a younger gal. She was in college, and her parents were going to go in with her and purchase this home so she could stay there throughout college. And then when she left, the parents would be able to rent it out. So we were looking through this home, and I got a little bit ahead of her. She was looking in one room, and I was, moving on to the next room. And I went into the living room, and there was this table, kind of the table you'd have in front of a couch. And it must have had enough, and at this time marijuana was illegal. It had enough marijuana on the table to probably fill an ice cream bucket, a Kemp's ice cream bucket. It was a lot, and it was a big old heap sitting right on the table. And there were bongs and pipes and lighters and all kinds of crazy things. And I just thought, what am I going to do? I can't touch this. I wasn't going to call it in, but my client's coming through here, and she seems to like the house. I'm not really excited about this, but I didn't say anything. And she came in, and I kind of looked at her face, and she reacted in a way that let me know, okay, she thinks it's kind of funny. So we let it go, right? We laughed about it. No big deal. But I've walked into other houses and seen all kinds of drug situations before. Cocaine, marijuana, or I guess I should say what I assume was cocaine. Cocaine and marijuana pretty much were it, right? But you see a lot of that stuff. Divorces. I've had a lot of divorce situations. Just put a video up the other day where the back and forth is ridiculous, and you'll get the restraining orders and people breaking restraining orders and breaking stuff once we're under contract, right? The buyer sees the house, they think they're getting this house, and then all of a sudden you've got the angry wife or the angry husband going in and breaking the fridge, breaking the microwave, breaking whatever. And now we've got an issue because legally we're contractually bound to delivering the house that they saw when they wrote up the offer. So that can be a challenge. And then when you present to that angry person, hey, we've got to get this fixed at your expense, and you don't have a choice. And the other spouse who didn't do it, they're now upset because they're in on that, right? So that can be a challenge as well. But the craziest story I ever had was actually my first sale ever. And it was a listing, and they had expired, right? Meaning they had probably a 6-month contract. That's what most contracts are, with another realtor, and that listing expired. I called the gentleman. I remember him. His name was Martin. And so we called him Marty. And I went over and we built a great relationship. And I said, hey, I'd like to list your house. And he said, awesome, let's do it. And Marty had a girlfriend, but she was not on title, so we didn't need her on there. So we had his home listed, and I actually had this co-listed with my good friend and mentor up in St. Cloud, Minnesota, who's now a broker, and he's phenomenal at it. He's one of the best, most ethical people I know in the business. I love him. But anyway, we had all these showings, and you could tell that Marty was getting a little, what's the word? Sick of waiting for people. So if you had a 1 hour window, right, 3 to 4 o'clock, and you didn't show up by about 3:40, 3:50, he would just come home, plop down and watch TV or crack a beer or whatever Marty felt like doing. And if you came in, then he would leave. And it really wasn't great optics, right? Because you want the house to look wow when you walk in. And when you walk in and there's a guy with a pot belly sitting on a lazy boy watching the game with a beer on his belly, that's not the best look, right? To try to entice a buyer. So we had a couple talks with them and we weren't getting anywhere. And we said, Marty, this is for you, man. It's not just for us. We're trying to get your home sold for the most amount of money. The better your home looks, i.e. you not in it, the better we're going to be able to do on sales price. So anyway, one of my good friends in the industry who worked at my brokerage, he had shown a couple the home and they really liked it. And it was between a couple and they decided this was going to be the one. So they came back. It was like 3, 4, 5 days later, and they were going to view it a second time. And he called me and he said, "Hey, Joe, this is going to be a second showing. Just want to let you know. So, make it look good. Let's get this thing done." I said, "Awesome, man." So I called my seller and I said, "Hey, they're going to come over from whatever time it was, say 3 to 4 o'clock. And they're going to take a look at it. So, let's make this sucker look sharp. This is our big opportunity." I got a phone call from my friend, the other agent, the buyer's agent, and it was probably around 3:45. And he was pretty upset. And he said, "Listen, my clients, they love the house. They came into the house and, mom goes to the kitchen. She's checking out the cabinets and everything. Dad goes into the garage and he's checking out how spacious it is for his boat or his four-wheeler or all his toys. And little Jenny, she's going through checking out the living room and she wanders back into the hallway, goes back into the bedroom. And there is your client, Joe, going to town. I don't know how to better say it, on his girlfriend. And little Jenny, 12 years old, witnessed that. And mom and dad were pretty doggone upset. I said, "Dude, I'm going to call you right back." And I called my client and he was incredibly defensive, nervous, embarrassed. And I said, "Are you out of your damn mind? What are you thinking?" And he said, "Hey, they were supposed to be here at 3 o'clock." And I said, "They had a window." And he said, "I just got sick of waiting." So anyway, that was probably the craziest / most embarrassing. I mean, if I see your drugs personally, I don't give a damn, right? But when it comes to that and kids, you gotta be careful with that, right? But Marty didn't give a damn. So the big question is then, did you sell it? Yeah, we got it sold, right? They ended up buying it. They weren't happy, but we did end up buying it. And I honestly never talked to Marty again, which was too soon. Not a bad guy, just kind of a buffoon and just careless, reckless. But he was an interesting cat. So that was not only the craziest experience I ever had, but it was also my first sale, right? My first listing, my first sale. And that was my first experience. So for me, welcome to real estate, right? Well, guys, I appreciate you sharing this with me. If you've got some wild real estate stories that you'd like to share, whether you're an agent, a buyer, or a seller, feel free to put them down in the comments. I'd love to hear them. Thank you for joining me. I'm here every single Friday answering the questions that you guys have. So if you have questions for future videos, feel free to leave those in the comments as well. Guys, have a phenomenal Friday and an even better weekend. Take care.